The Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, BADEA, that has stood by the continent over the decades, is one of the key actors in the promotion of trade across Africa. Today, we are having a conversation with the team from BADEA on trade dynamics and more specifically on the Arab Africa Trade Program and how trade is going to change with the AFCFTA in perspective. Welcome, everyone. We have Dr. Kabata. Dr. Kabata, what underlines BADEA's commitment to the AATB program?
Well, thank you very much, Jill. First and foremost, to understand what underlines the BADEA commitment to the Arab-Africa trade bridge, one needs to understand BADEA's mission. So technically, our bank mission revolves around 2 points. First, promoting economic development around the continent, and second, foster the Arab-Africa cooperation through investment and trade. Just by the mission, you can easily see why the Arab-Africa trade bridge is of high interest to BADEA. Here at BADEA, we strongly believe in synergy. And by synergy, we strongly believe that by working together with partners, our impact is much larger than acting individually. So in that respect, the Arab-Africa trade bridge is actually a platform where BADEA, along with other partners, actually work together to promote trade flows between the two regions, the Arab and the African countries. So in that respect, we strongly believe that the platform is actually an ideal tool, and with partners along, we've achieved quite a lot, and we are positive that there are more to achieve. As a matter of fact, the potential of trade flows between the two regions is very big and partially tapped into. So in that respect, we guys at BADEA, we strongly committed to the Arab-Africa trade bridge. So roughly speaking, this can give you a picture of why BADEA is actually committed to the AATB.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kabata. Ms. Nashwa, with the AATB program in mind, how would you say, or how do you think African countries can leverage the program to power their post-COVID economic recovery?
Yes, thank you so much. So without a doubt, the COVID-19 pandemic bubbled the social economic challenges Africa is facing and hit our country's trade and supply chains a great deal. Hence, the African leaders must now adopt strategies for resilient and fast recovery post the pandemic. And with that, achieving growth through trade is imperative and facilitated, to be honest, to that recovery. The good thing is we find many strategic and encouraging agreements like the African Continental Free Trade Area that yet to be utilized in full and optimized to achieve its trade integration, facilitation, and promotion objective. And also we find enabling programs like the AATB program, for example, which put in a tremendous effort and play a pivotal role in helping the countries recover from the pandemic, and has many initiatives as well that will allow African countries to exploit and realize many economic benefits through international trade as well as focused regional, for example, Africa trade. Now, the AATB is a multi-stakeholder program that aims to promote intra-Africa or intra-region trade and investment between the two regions. And that comes with many benefits for its member. Of course, besides granting members a seat in the decision-making process, it gives priority to benefit from many of our services For example, supporting the achievement of national strategies, provide financial and technical support for the trade and investment-related activities and promotional events for the local exporters. Also offer specialized capacity building programs and technical assistance in the field of international trade and investment, and also business matching activities for exporters and importers.
Thank you, Ms. Nashwa. You highlighted something very important, which is the AFCFTA. Dr. Eltigani, with the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement in perspective, would you say enough funding is being made available for trade in Africa and between Africa and the Arab regions?
Thank you, Jill and team. Certainly, African Continental Free Trade Area has provided some practical African solutions since its inception in 2018. But I think optimal Africa-wide trade facilitation platform remains a desired goal due to the need for a significant investment in infrastructure, technology, and capacity building across the continent as we see today. Many African DFIs and multilateral banks have been active in trade facilitation, including evidently African Development Bank through its trade facilitation programs, Trade Fund and Trade Finance, and Afrexim Bank through its flagship Africa Trade Facilitation Program. But I want to mention in particular here the role of BADEA, because BADEA sits in the bridge between Africa and Arabs. It has got a very specific role to play and a very pioneering role to play as well. As we all know, Jill, Africa-Arab trade exchanges have historically been low compared with the rest of the world, despite geographic proximity and historic and cultural ties. And I think BADEA has identified this trade gap as a major hindrance to Africa progress towards attaining the Sustainable Development Goals. And hence, BADEA has been playing a multi-pronged role in facilitating Arab-Africa trade, the Africa trade with the rest of the world through tailored project and trade solutions, including food security, Africa value-added exports, and technology transfer facilitation, in addition to supporting intra-Africa trade flow. But despite these efforts, Jill, we feel that there are challenges related to the lack of coordination and harmonization of trade policies and regulations among African countries. This heightens the role of not only African Continental Free Trade Area, but also other established and highly rated multilateral development banks, such as BADEA, to play additional coordinating role besides their original financing roles. And as you know, Jill, BADEA's recent credit rating and capital increase will certainly go a long way in enabling the bank to deliver on its mission, but also to play a more prominent role in the African Continental Free Trade agenda. In retrospect, Jill, and as I thank you, I believe that some of the pioneering initiatives led by BADEA and other regional banks can be taken as preferred intervention models to tackle the hindrances to the African trade facilitation. I also believe that more institutional collaboration between DFIs, sovereigns, and para-sovereign entities like African Continental Free Trade Area across Africa is the way to go to address the Africa trade facilitation agenda. In other words, Jill, all hands should be in the deck, but not separate decks. The deck has to be one deck, and everyone has to be on that deck. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eltigani. Thank you, Dr. Kabata. Thank you, Ms. Nashwa. And thank you for bringing BADEA on the pod.